Welcome back to Hematite Homestead. It's that time of year again, one of my favorite things to do here around the homestead, and that's deer hunt. My sophomore season crossbow hunting with my Barnett 385 XP. And last year, I let 3 does go, waiting for a big buck to come by. Turned out to be the wrong move because I never saw anything else to shoot all year long. All the research that I did said that you should not pass up on those shots because when the time comes to shoot that big buck, you need to know what your weapon does and what it's capable of. So this year, I told myself, I'm not going to make that mistake again. We're going to find out what this crossbow can do. So let's go hunting. So it's the week of October 15th, 2024, and I took this week off of vacation, planning to go down to North Carolina to show a giant pumpkin, but didn't have a giant pumpkin to show, so I decided I'm going to spend this week bow hunting. Now, the week went much like early season did last year. I saw this bear almost every single day. It was almost a given that around 5 o'clock to 5:30 in the evenings, this bear would show up, grace me with his presence. Up to this point, I'd only hunt in the evenings. This was my first full day hunt. And about 11 o'clock in the morning, this big boy came running into my area. The very first thing I noticed about him was how thick his base was. Now, you're going to have to look really hard to see it. I held the crossbow in one hand and the phone in the other. I was unable to zoom in on it. Best I can guess, he was 8 points or better. After he left, I shot the tree he was standing by with my rangefinder and got him at 67.5 yards. Not a distance that I'd ever practiced at, had never shot the crossbow that far, so not a shot I was even going to think about taking, especially through these trees and leaves. Now, unfortunately for me, he made his way up the hill, never to be seen again. Now, when I say not a distance I had practiced at, practicing is exactly what I did. I took my 3D target up into the woods and set it at 5 different locations that I typically see deer at, from 12 yards out to 35 yards. That went really well. I was dialed in at those distances. Next year, am I going to practice at 70 yards? You bet I am. Practice that I did with this crossbow from that tree stand, shooting at my 3D target, is about to pay off.
Now, I did not need to follow this trail. I knew exactly where this deer was. I saw exactly where it went down. But I wanted to take this opportunity to learn a little bit about what my 20-inch bolt with a 2-inch mechanical rage broadhead attached to it does to a deer.
So that was Friday. I took Saturday off. Went back at it early Sunday morning before sunrise. One of my goals this year with this crossbow was to get a turkey. And every ounce of crossbow confidence that I gained on Friday with the deer harvest was stripped away from me by these stupid turkeys. I missed them not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. They just kept coming back all day long, like starting at 8 o'clock in the morning. I missed every single time. I just couldn't get that distance dialed in on them.
If you look in the upper middle and towards the upper right of your screen, you'll see some turkeys messing around there. You can probably hear them scratching in the leaves. This was the last miss of the day. This footage comes from my GoPro. They came right in front where I had the GoPro set up, so I was able to get a little bit of footage and try and figure out exactly how I'm missing. Now, I didn't realize it when I stuck the crossbow out of my blind that I'd pushed the blind in front of the GoPro, so you can't really see. You gotta look really close. But when I slowed down the footage, it looks like I'm missing them high by about 2 feet. And this particular shot here was at about 23 yards.
So at that point, I was ready to give up for the day. I was going to pack it up, go on home, call it a good week. But it was Sunday evening. My week of vacation was just about over. So I stuck it out in the tree a couple more hours. About a half an hour before sunset, I was hearing something down in the creek bed behind me. And I was turned around watching the creek bed behind me. And then I could hear noise to my front. And it sounded like a freight train coming through the woods. I turned around and looked, and there he stood, 15 yards broadside, right in front of my stand. Now, he'd heard me turn around or something. He was staring right at me, but he couldn't see me because I have that makeshift blind built around my stand. I just sat there as still as I could be. Luckily for me, he turned his head up the hill, looked up the hill, and I used that opportunity to grab the crossbow off the hook, open up my blind curtain, and take the shot.
No camera footage on this one. It was about 15 minutes before sunset when this fella came through, and I was starting to lose daylight at a pretty quick pace. What a shot. What a shot. Okay, may have made a mistake here. This was the same arrow and broadhead that I used on the deer earlier in the week. The mechanical did not open. This deer did not bleed a drop. But luckily, he went about 20 yards up the hill and rested right there, and I seen him the whole time.
beautiful shot.
All right, so that was most of the excitement for the season. I didn't see any other deer to harvest all through early muzzleload, all through rifle season, all through late muzzleload. Plenty of turkey activity, and I saw doe from time to time. And just for the record, I finally did get the turkey shot right on the very last day of fall turkey season. This little spike had about 2-inch spikes on top of his head, came through in the first week of early muzzleloading. This guy made a heck of a racket coming through the woods. I thought for sure deer were coming. It was coming right down the deer trail too. This next one is a really tiny 4-pointer. This was on the last weekend of early muzzleload, and I actually saw this buck 4 times throughout the season.
So that's it for hunting season in Virginia. That took me through early bow season, early muzzleloading season, rifle season, and late muzzleloading season. Only harvested the 2 deer in that 1 week of October during bow season, and they're going to make some great things like summer sausage, deer bacon, those wonderful tenderloin steaks, and some jerky. So we're definitely thankful that we were able to harvest those 2 animals. Next year, making plans to do rifle season in Pennsylvania with my son, who's up there managing a construction site, and definitely looking forward to that. I'm going to be in high anticipation of that trip all year long. Thanks a lot for watching here at Hematite Homestead. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Check out all the cool things we do here.